Ambassador Mara Ilian paused at the threshold of the Hall of Accord and drew in a slow, steady breath. The towering doors before her were forged from translucent mineral harvested from a collapsing sun. They shimmered with impossible beauty, and yet felt utterly lifeless. Beyond them waited the 12 dominant authorities of known space. They had summoned her to deliver what they called a conclusive judgment. 3 years. 3 years Mara had walked through these same doors. 3 years of polite smiles offered to beings who regarded humanity as little more than an inconvenience. 3 years of pleading for protections that every other civilization already enjoyed. 3 years of hollow reassurances and quiet humiliation. Today would not be the same. The doors parted, and Mara stepped into the chamber. The hall formed a perfect circle. 12 elevated daïses rose along its edge, each occupied by an envoy of a galactic power. From above, they gazed down at her, and she felt the familiar gravity of their disdain press against her spine. At the highest platform sat Archconsul Caelrix, ruler of the Aurelian Combine. His mantis-like form gleamed beneath the chamber lights, opalescent armor skin catching every color. For 10,000 years, his people had ruled this region of space, and ensured no one ever forgot it. "Ambassador Ilian," Caelrix said, his voice carrying effortlessly. "The Council has finalized its ruling regarding Earth's appeal." Mara folded her hands behind her back. Her pulse thundered, but her expression remained calm. "I await the Council's decision." A luminous projection ignited at the chamber's center. A stellar chart rotated slowly. Mara recognized it instantly. The Orion Fringe, and beside it, one dim, red-marked system. "The Council grants humanity exclusive stewardship of the Dravo system," Caelrix announced. "A full star system under your jurisdiction." Mara studied the image. Dravo's was a graveyard, an extinguished star, airless worlds, and drifting debris. No biospheres, no resources, nothing of value. "Additionally," Caelrix continued, "human vessels will receive conditional access to 17 sanctioned trade corridors." Another figure appeared. 40%. Tribute so severe it would strangle commerce before it began. "And lastly," Caelrix said, his tone tightening, "Earth will surrender all combat-capable ships exceeding corvette class. These vessels will be transferred to Council custody to ensure interstellar stability. Emerging civilizations cannot be trusted with excessive force." Silence flooded the chamber. The Council watched her expectantly. They believed humanity would comply. Humanity always had. Mara remembered her arrival 3 years earlier, hopeful, proud. Humanity had only recently reached the stars, eager to stand among them as equals. The stars had answered with conditions. "Prove your worth." So humans delivered aid to dying worlds, shared medical breakthroughs freely, took missions others abandoned. Still not enough. "Prove your restraint." Humanity downsized fleets, opened military records, signed every accord placed before them. Still not enough. The demands had never been about merit. They were about submission. "I request a brief adjournment," Mara said evenly, "to consult my homeworld." Caelrix's mandibles flexed. "Of course, 1 standard hour." Inside Earth's modest delegation chamber, Mara activated a secure channel. Director General Elias Rowan appeared. His hair was white now. His eyes were not. "If we accept this," Rowan said quietly, "we become a vassal. If we refuse, they'll suffocate us over time." "They assume we're afraid to stand alone," Mara replied. Rowan leaned closer. "Are they wrong?" Mara thought of her son, tracing star maps late into the night, of colony ships under construction, of lives lost because medical access had been denied. "No," she said softly, "they're wrong." Rowan nodded once. Directive Silent Horizon is cleared. Mara closed her eyes. There would be no return from this. I'll give the order. 1 hour later, Mara returned to the Hall of Accord. She did not bow. The Terran Coalition has reviewed the Council's proposal, she said. We have reached our conclusion. Kaelrix leaned forward. And what is humanity's decision? Mara lifted her gaze. She did not look away. Humanity withdraws its request for commercial access. We retract our appeal for territorial recognition, and we are ending these discussions entirely. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber. We are recalling our observers, Mara continued, pulling our volunteers from Council operations, removing our fleets from your corridors, extracting our technicians from your installations. You cannot survive without us, a counselor snapped. Mara interrupted him without hesitation. We endured ice ages, extinction, plagues, wars that erased cities. We endured a hostile world for hundreds of thousands of years. She squared her shoulders. We will endure this. Humanity declines. She turned and walked out. Moments later, her communicator chimed. Awaiting authorization. Mara typed a single line. Operation Silent Dusk is now active. Across the galaxy, human presence faded. Engineers powered down stations. Medics completed final rounds and departed. Freighters altered course for home. The galaxy barely noticed. Until 3 months later. Trade routes began failing. Medical shipments slowed. Border worlds went dark. Executors stared at collapsing logistics webs. Admirals stood over ruined colonies, learning, too late, that human patrols had guarded their borders without pay or command. Doctors watched patients die where humans once worked bare-handed in plague zones, immune where others were not. Raiders noticed too. With human ships gone, the fringe ignited. Pirate fleets surged inward, burning worlds once thought untouchable. Inside council halls, laughter turned to alarm. Then came the message from the ancient machine observers. You erred, correct this. 6 months after humanity walked away, war returned to the galaxy. Council fleets, elegant and untested, shattered against raider coalitions hardened by endless conflict. Helio's gate fell. Refugees poured outward by the millions. They fled toward the last safe region left. Human space. Earth debated only once. Borders opened. Food, shelter, protection, no conditions. Human civilians launched volunteer fleets. Doctors returned alone to plague wards. Captains placed battered ships between raiders and refugees. Not because they were ordered to. Because someone had to. The contrast was impossible to ignore. The council collapsed under its own exposure. Leaders were deposed. A reformed assembly sent a message to Earth. We were wrong. Please help us. Ambassador Mara Ilian returned, not to bargain, but to listen. The council offered everything humanity had once begged for. Sovereignty, trade, reparations. Mara shook her head. This was never only about us, she said. It's about every civilization you silenced. She named them, dozens forgotten, crushed. We won't replace you as rulers, she continued. We will dismantle the system that allowed any of you to rule unchecked. The vote lasted 3 days. In the end, the old order dissolved. Humanity rejoined the galaxy not as masters, but as equals. 1 year after humanity walked away, the galaxy breathed again. Former refugees trained beside humans, fleets fought together. Young civilizations found their voices. After the final session, a young envoy asked Mara the question everyone wondered. You could have ruled, he said. Why didn't you? Mara smiled sadly. My daughter told me not to become like them. She looked out at the chamber. No thrones, no heights, only equals. Revenge is easy, she said. It builds nothing. We chose something harder. We chose to build. That night, celebration filled the plaza beneath the stars. Mara stood quietly, watching the future dance. Her communicator chimed. A message from home. Mom, I'm proud of you. You didn't become them. You helped them become better. Mara saved the message beside a long list of names, those who had died before this day. They mattered, she whispered to the stars. Once, the galaxy mocked humanity for walking away. No one was laughing now. They were too busy learning how to hope.